As promised, we're going to review companies that you can work for from home remotely without going on an interview. So, what this involves essentially is signing up to work with the company as a contractor. It's basically an application process, and generally, you will do that, decide what different roles may fit you, and then go from there on to the learning process. These are essentially call center type positions. So they're looking for people who are willing to apply, come on board, learn about the company, product, and or services provided, and then take incoming calls to address callers' concerns related to the product and services. So that's generally what you would be doing in a situation like this. The pay is roughly, for most of these type of positions, $15 to $21 an hour, depending on the company that you're partnering with, and then what the originating company, the client, is willing to pay. Also, there's a boost for different parts of the season. For example, if a company is partnering with somewhere like Intuit for the TurboTax job, for the TurboTax contracting, they will have periods like in April when they're willing to pay an extra dollar or so per hour for hours that you're wanting to schedule. So there are boosts in there, but that's not the regular pay. You have to look at what the regular pay is, and you'll be notified of any incentives as you move through the application process. So the first one we're going to talk about is Omni Interactions. It's a well-known company that takes on remote contractors who just want to be with them for the different seasons that they're partnering with different companies. They partner with companies like Intuit for the TurboTax tax season, healthcare companies that have insurance related or healthcare related service roles, and other similar companies that are just needing remote contract agents to handle calls. You would go to their website, Omni Interactions, and find a contract, which is essentially a job that you're interested in. When you go to these sites, they may or may not have a pay attached to the job when you first look at it, because they're wanting people to apply based on the fit for the roles, not necessarily which one pays the most. But I've worked for them, and when I worked for them, simply I just had to go and apply basically with my name and demographics. There may be like a brief, hey, how are you type introduction thing they want you to do, but it's not an interview. You've already signed up to be a contractor. It's just getting familiar with the company and how contracting works. Because as you can imagine, if you've never done this before, you're not really understanding how to navigate it. And we'll go through some of those tips as we move forward. The next most popular company for these kind of jobs is the Arise platform. With Arise, you are basically signing up to have access to additional companies. Arise doesn't hire you directly or contract with you directly. You contract through Arise to companies that partner with them for you to come on as a contractor. So essentially, you would go to Arise, A-R-I-S-E, the Arise platform, to sign up and do their process. There are a couple lesser known ones that I've never worked with but are worth mentioning. It's called NextRep, N-E-X-R-E-P, that has a work from home like marketplace, which is similar to Arise, and Working Solutions, which is another basically mediator for connecting contractors with companies. So during the process of working with these types of companies, what you can expect is a lot of kind of upfront investment. Normally, you may be accustomed to being paid to learn on the job, to learn the aspects of what you need to do and your performance on a daily basis. Well, you don't with this situation. there may need to be an upfront investment of 3 to 6 weeks of learning, just as you would on a paid job, a salaried job, or an hourly salary job. You're going to have to do that before you even start working for pay. So anticipate that they're going to ask that you take several online courses before the contract actually starts in order for you to begin working and getting paid as a contractor. That's one of the downsides of this kind of work, is there is significant upfront investment in terms of the learning curve before you start getting paid, but you can work and get paid without competing with other people for the jobs. So it's a trade-off. Then after that, you begin the position by choosing your own hours. Be one of the first people when they send out the notification that the sign up is open to choose your hours. Because of course, because you're not an employee, they are not entitled to give you hours. You have to be open and available to select your hours, or other people who have signed up are going to get them before you. So make sure that you are on board and paying attention to your email, paying attention to text, because if you don't realize it till a day or two later that the hours selection or the schedule has opened up, you're going to get to it and there aren't going to be any hours. That's going to be the case from when you first start, as well as ongoing while you're working with the job throughout a particular contract for the couple months or the 3 months or the 6 months or whatever it is. Those are the main tips with this process. The other one would be is to just not delay anything. When they open up the courses, when they open up the opportunities, again, you have to be one of the first groups to sign up, because there's going to be hundreds of people who are looking for these opportunities to open, both people who have done the jobs in the past, who depend on this as income, as well as people who have just discovered it and they want to get on board. The links to each of these sites are going to be in the video description. I wish everyone well. See you next time.